What's up, mother flowers? It's time for UFC Shanghai full card predictions. I'm going to go through the entire card, starting from the bottom, getting all the way to the top, where Zang is going to take on Johnny Walker. And there are some fun fights on this one. I should probably start with us just saying like a group prayer for the great and powerful Brian Ortega, because that was one of the worst weigh-ins I've ever seen. And I've seen some gnarly ones. You know, we've seen people who've maybe looked more emaciated in the face. But does he have COVID? You know? What's going on here? Because that looked like more than jet lag. Brian Ortega just missed weight by 8 pounds. Okay? That's how much my cat weighs. That's not close to making weight. Aljo, he looks healthy. I mean, he looks a lot smaller. You know, when they face off, you could tell Brian Ortega has been fighting at the heavier weight class, but Brian Ortega is a featherweight. He is looking more like a welterweight who's cutting down to lightweight, man. 153. It is very strange. Look at how he walked towards Aljamain Sterling at the stare down. Very like uninspired, you know? So something to take note of. I mean, the size difference is real, but we're talking about a 5-round fight between these two, and I'm wondering if Brian Ortega is sick, right? Injury's one thing, but why would you be that deflated, right? Why would you have that type of attitude, almost looking like off balance? At weigh-ins, I'm thinking something pretty bad, okay? So if the fight goes down tomorrow, definitely you should take note of that weigh-in. I'm going to start from the bottom, go to the top. I'm going to be a little bit quick today. I'm going to butcher a lot of names today. Nurgozhay versus Uran Satybaldiev. My lean is Satybaldiev. I think he might even be able to take him down here. You know, Nurgozhay, not that impressive. Southpaw, I think that he's a little too hittable. So is Satybaldiev. This is a pretty tough matchup to bet on. But I'm going to take Satybaldiev, being a taller, more well-rounded MMA fighter who could get a takedown and probably still strike with Nurgozhay. 10-1 versus 9-1. Not the most data on these guys. Like, I'm watching their fights outside of the UFC and trying to put stuff together. Satybaldiev, has a nice Kimura. Nurgozhay just Kimura'd. So maybe 1 + 1 is 2. Long Xiao versus Su Young Yu. Su Young Yu, solid fucking wrestling. Solid wrestling. You have to respect the fact that he could decide where the fight takes place. However, the striking, not good. He likes to back up. He is constantly, sort of winging overhand rights. It's not great. So Long Xiao definitely in this fight. My lean will be Su Young Yu with the wrestling. However, homie's got some holes in his game. I can't be confident in him until he kind of rounds it out a little more. I mean, even on the ground, he almost got triangled. You guys remember that? So there are some issues there. So slight lean to the wrestler, but I've seen people betting on Long Xiao. You're not crazy. Yizha versus Westin Wilson. I'm going Westin. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go Yizha, but Westin Wilson's more game than people think. Okay? Bookies in Vegas putting this thing at 4 digits for Yizha. You crazy motherfuckers. I feel like Westin Wilson's submission game's live. Westin Wilson, this is his last fight on his UFC contract. He knows he needs this thing. I do believe that he'll be in the fight, and it'll be hard to finish for Yizha. Yizha's the lean, but Westin Wilson, I like his attitude coming into this one, and while his striking kind of wilts to people like Gene Silva, this ain't Gene Silva. I think Westin Wilson will stay in this thing, lose the decision. Michel Pereira versus Kyle Daukaus. I'm going to lean Michel Pereira. He looked big and strong at weigh-ins. Kyle Daukaus has like no traps, bro. What is up with your shoulders, Mr. Daukaus? Who stole your traps? He's decent though. He's a good kickboxer. Like he could grapple, but I don't think he'll be able to get Michel Pereira down. Lean to Michel Pereira, but Kyle Daukaus, welcome back to the UFC. Wouldn't be a sad thing to see him win. Michel Pereira has been struggling. I'm gonna go Michel Pereira. Rongzhu versus Austin Hubbard. I like Rongzhu here. Austin Hubbard's competent, but not great at anything. Austin Hubbard doesn't really stand out with his power or his speed or his submission ability. And I think Rongzhu is special on the feet. So Rongzhu scoring on him, using his takedown defense, shining in China. I like Rongzhu in this matchup. Loner Kavanagh versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson got right in his fucking face. And he's a lot taller. That was interesting to see because Charles Johnson already an interesting underdog, already one I've been fucking looking at, but Loner Kavanagh's very legit, man. He's scored the praise of Ilia Topuria, and if you watch his talent level is real. He can definitely be a solid contender in the UFC. He's very young, and Charles Johnson's a real test. So there's a lot of unknowns in this matchup. It'll be really interesting to see him challenged with a good striker, Muay Thai, experienced veteran like Charles Johnson. I think that's a really fun fight. That's a tough call to make. After that weigh-ins, dude, Charles Johnson's kind of a tough test for him, man. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. I'm going to lean Charles Johnson. Loner Kavanagh's legit, though. He can fucking get it done. He's a little faster. He's well-rounded, too. He's got takedowns in his game. He's strong. But damn, the way Charles Johnson was towering over him, I did not expect that. I've got to watch that back. Did he have fucking shoes on? Why is he so much bigger than Loner Kavanagh? And the experience, Charles Johnson's a real gatekeeper. Like, no disrespect in saying that. He's he'll send you right back down slightly in Charles Johnson. Loner Kavanagh's going to give him a test. That's a fun one. Mahashate versus Gage Young. I'm going to lean Gage Young. Mahashate is decent. He's tough. A little taller, but Gage Young, a grinder, probably has better hands than Mahashate. Mahashate is just too hittable. Like, look at him banging with Nicholas Mota. Look at him. He's just too hittable. And I think Gage Young can put shots on him. Another close fight, though. I'm going to fuck this one up bad. Tailak Nueraji. It looks purely like Nueraji, and then Brendan Fitzgerald was saying something else. I'm going to assume Brendan Fitzgerald's right, and I'm wrong on the pronunciation. But I think I'm right on the pick. Tailak Nueraji over Kiefer Crosbie. Kiefer Crosbie, just not a grappler, man. Not a fucking grappler. Too easy to take down, and I don't trust his ground game, Yeah. I don't trust him. He's got hands on him, but just too many holes in his game. And when you're that bankrupt in grappling, I just feel like, Nueraji could just take him down when he wants to, control him on the ground. I think Tailak Nueraji getting it on, he could even finish him maybe a submission, even though it's not normally his thing. When you're fighting Kiefer Crosbie, why not? Why the fuck not? Nueraji. Sumudaerji versus Kevin Borjas. I got Kevin Borjas in this one. Sumudaerji's a real test. That's a good fight. I really like the matchup. I think they're going to go to war. Kevin Borjas, though, really solid kickboxing. His kicks are strong. His boxing's strong. He's tough as fuck. He's durable. He just beat Ronaldo Rodriguez in an impressive one. I think the pressure is going to matter here. Him making Sumudaerji back up. Sumudaerji, Brendan? I think Kevin Borjas squeaks out this decision. It's a good fight. I do like it. But I'm going to lean Kevin Borjas, doing a little more damage to Sumudaerji, being a dog in there, getting it done, earning it on the scorecards. Where's Waldo is taking on the Pav. Sergei Pavlovich versus Waldo Acosta Cortes. It's a fun one. It's a really good one at heavyweight, guys. We're going to have some fun with this one. My lean is Sergei Pavlovich. But hear me out. I have been on Where's Waldo all the way up. Okay? I've made money off Where's Waldo multiple times. I've had faith in the big boxer who can slam some kicks in there and has okay wrestling now. It's great to see. It's fucking great to see. You know, it'll be tough, man. Where's Waldo can be relaxed, pop that jab out there. But like when they really get hacking shots, I trust in Sergei's speed and the power. Like I get, where's Waldo's got a faster jab, and if he's loose and relaxed, he's a little bit quicker. But when they bang, when they exchange, Pav throws heat with the power shots as to where's Waldo loads up a little bit. I think Pav sends a straight cross down there, puts where's Waldo on his ass, maybe even gets him out of there. It's a fun one between these two. It could go cards though. Where's Waldo's got good head movement. He could get dropped and stay in it, I think the Pav's going to come for the KO, but Waldo's probably going to try to decision him. Jabs and low kicks. It'll be an interesting one, guys. Slight lean for the Russian, Sergei Pavlovich. Brian, the ghost of Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. I got Aljo here, and I had Aljo before the disastrous weigh-in that we just witnessed. I think Brian Ortega's real good at submission grappling. He's a veteran. He's fought a lot of great names. He's definitely shown us a lot in the cage. You've seen a lot of Brian Ortega footage. But I don't believe in his ability to knock Aljo out, Brian Ortega just doesn't have a ton of punching power. Mike, he threw an uppercut against Frankie Edgar in 2002. Not really, but come on, guys. Come on. Don't be a child. Yes, humans are susceptible to being KO. Frankie Edgar wobbles in half the fights he's in. And that was a massive uppercut. I don't think he's hitting Aljo with that, guys. I don't think so. I don't really think that's in the cards, especially after the fucking weigh-in we just witnessed. Brian Ortega, not known for his knockout ability, doesn't put a ton of kinetic energy behind shots. Look at the way his body's built. He's just not an explosive athlete. He, is really decorated with his jiu-jitsu, and they call him T-City for the triangles, but even his triangle doesn't blow me away. Like he's missed a couple triangles in the UFC. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is as good as, it's not Damian Maia. It's not even really Chase Hooper. And that's crazy saying after Chase just got knocked the fuck out by Alex Hernandez. But I'm serious. Like the way Chase attacks on the ground, Brian Ortega is not showing us that. He's competed in jiu-jitsu at a very high level. But I got to look at his body language at weigh-ins and be like, auto fade. Aljamain Sterling with the wrestling, getting it done with the fucking wrestling, even though he's a lot smaller than Brian Ortega. In the main events, we've got a test for Mingyang Zhang, and it's Johnny fucking Walker. Johnny Walker got right in his face. Johnny Walker's big. His brother's on a fucking roll. We have to acknowledge all that. But Mingyang, Zang should. And I heard Zang. Okay, I can go Zang. I like Zang. Is just too goddamn explosive. He's an athlete, okay? That dude's an athlete. That dude puts people away in the first round. He's very, very talented. I think that he's going to put big shots on Johnny Walker, and that Johnny Walker's chin just ain't going to be there for it, guys. Johnny Walker's taken some big shots. I think he got knocked out twice in one fight, if I remember. Johnny Walker's wild too. Will do unpredictable shit and then get countered. So the wildness, sort of roll the dice style mixed with Zhang's power and capabilities at this level, I think Zhang puts him away, guys, early too. Early. I think this is a great party for Zhang. All right. One more time for my people in the back. Main event, I got Zhang. Co-main event, how are you going to take Brian Ortega as he, wobbles to the face-off? That was not good. I'll take Aljamain Sterling. Give me the Pav over Where's Waldo. Where's Waldo's a live dog. Give me Kevin Borjas over Sumudaerji. Give me Tylaik Nueraji over Kiefer Crosbie. Give me Gage Young over Mahashate. That's a good one. Give me Charles Johnson over Loner Kavanagh. Fuck, it's hard to say out loud. I don't know. Loner Kavanagh and Charles are going to have a good fight. Rongzhu over Austin Hubbard. I do like that one. Michel Pereira over Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus will be a challenge. Yizha over Westin Wilson. Su Young Yu over Long Xiao, although he really is just wrestling, guys. He's vulnerable. And then Uran Satybaldiev over Dr. Nurgozhay. Those are my full card predictions for UFC Shanghai going down in the early hours. I'm in California here, so it's what, like 1 a.m. for me? So fuck it. Staying up, kids. What up, guys? What up, AJ DeVito? Shout out, shout out. MMA experts in the house. Finch cash the Edwards KO 345 plus 1200. You wild as hell. I like money lines, man. Money lines and under overs. Those just hit so often. Finch, drop a lock. The lock is Zang. It's my most confident pick on the card. I told you guys that on Wednesday. Finch, don't read comments. I know, bro. Fuck, I know. I know. Now that you say that, I got to read one more. Goofy ass shit. Goofy ass. I really shouldn't read the comments. But a bunch of you guys liked it too. I'm like, are you guys serious? Hang on. I got to get this one. This was from the last video. Confident AF. Me. I'm confident AF. Joe Rogan never said fighters should be stood up. He says the opposite. First off, factually wrong. Joe Rogan for fucking decades now is always talking about how he doesn't want, fighters stood up. He thinks, hey, if I could hold a guy there, you should be able to beat him up. I've seen every UFC fight ever. I know what Joe Rogan's stance is, of course. But you said Joe Rogan never said fighters should be stood up. He literally is a direct quote. It's a direct quote. Yeah, you can stand him up here. Joe Rogan at 1:24 left in the 5th round of Khamzat DDP. That's what I was referencing. I'm referencing a fact. He even says if the round ends on the mat, then it should start the next round in the same position because you need to earn it to get up. Because you need to earn the get up. Casual. LOL. If you're one of these people who just calls anybody who disagrees with you a casual, like, check yourself, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because me, you guys could just scroll back on my YouTube and see I've broken every single UFC card down for the past 2 years. You could see old interviews with me and Michael Bisping and Dana White from 2008. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have seen them around the game. To throw that out there, you're not telling the truth. You're just being silly. Why not say things that are true? Stupid. There's another good one. James Gallagher is high level BJJ. High level? He's got BJJ. I'm a bit of a hater. What can I say? You're completely off with the Ortega versus Aljo take, almost like you've never watched any of their fights. What? I've literally broken down so many of their fights. Again, it's all on the internet. You guys are just wilding. Ortega has better cardio than Aljo and builds as the fight goes on. Bro, Aljo is the stalling machine. Aljo gets on your back and just hangs on. Okay? Ask Piotr Jan. Okay? Aljo's got great energy management, especially in his championship days. And let's see how he fucking does in the 5th now after that weigh-in. Oh, there was one more about finishes. Here we go. Okay, so I was saying Khamzat should have tried to TKO, right? Yeah, right, Finch. Carwin was pulling his arm back and pounding Lesnar and gassed bad because the ref wouldn't stop that hammer fist and then gets beat. That's why they're doing low energy 100 strikes. Okay. Did this dude just reference the largest heavyweight to ever fight in the UFC? Of course, Shane Carwin gassed out after going for a flurry. Look at that motherfucker. Shane Carwin is built like a fucking... Who's that? The Mountain in Game of Thrones? He's built like the fucking Mountain, okay? The largest hands in UFC history. And he was going all out emotionally ground and pounding. What you're not understanding is that energy management is the factor I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is Khamzat didn't just have to do this, right? He could actually wind up more and not waste his energy, right? Because after not getting the flurry, you could still maintain top position from crucifix ground and pound. This is probably getting too dynamic for somebody who doesn't understand jiu-jitsu, but just basics, okay? Risk versus reward. If you have full crucifix and you're throwing elbows and you don't get the TKO, you get to stay on top. You can still stay on top. Okay. So John Jones, when he ground and pounds people, he's winding up big. He's not gassing himself out, because just like a video game character, when you get into the red, you could let the bar load back up into the green. I'm talking about the health bar, that cardio bar, right? You played Mortal Kombat? You can ground and pound like that, and you can get the referee to step in. Okay. Take a note from the GOAT, John fucking Jones. Were there any goofy ass comments? So yeah, I shouldn't read the comments. My bad, Hernando. My bad. It's 3:37. I got to coach jiu-jitsu. I'm coaching boxing class tonight. And then right after that, I have got my boy Ernie, and we're getting him ready for his very first grappling tournament. I've also got my boy T competing in his second grappling tournament. So I'm getting him ready to choke motherfuckers out. I appreciate y'all being here. If you guys want to see who I bet on this week, I dropped 3 plays. I dropped a lock of the night, 2 parlays of the night, 3 units out there. They are over on Mike Finch'Show Telegram. It's premium channel. So DM at Mike Finch'Show on Instagram. DM at Mike Finch'Show on Instagram. And we'll get you in there over to the premium channel where I give out my most confident bets. All right. Appreciate you guys all being here. Neurology KO. Let's fucking go, Edge. Let's go, guys. What 3 fights do I like to end in split decision? I would not bet on fights ending split. I've maybe done it once or twice, but generally I don't bet on fights ending in split decision. Fuck, Loner Kavanagh and Charles Johnson's a good one. Yeah, there'll be a couple close ones. The ones I said are close and are going to decision, those. It's all love, guys. Until next time, it's peace and love.